neither side is offering a definitive path to revive the agreement, which has been on life support since former President Donald Trump withdrew from it in 2018. Now, our Ritika.
US official says they expect to respond to Iran's comments on a European draft proposal by Wednesday, after which there is expected to be another exchanges of technical detail followed by a meeting of the joint commissions that oversees the deal. The new development including stepped up public messaging campaign by both Tehran and Washington suggests that an agreement could be near. Despite the forward movement, numerous hurdles remain, and key sticking point could still unravel effort of bringing back the 2015 deal under which Iran received billions of dollars in sanctions relief in exchange for curbs on its nuclear program intended to prevent it from developing an atomic weapon.
Now next, even US supporters of an agreement are no longer referring to the longer and stronger deal that they had initially set out to win when indirect negotiations with Iran began last spring. And on the Iranian side, demands for greater US sanctions relief than the administration appears willing or able to promise could undercut the push to revive the agreement. In Washington, the Biden administration faces considerable political opposition to returning to the 2015 deal from both Democrats and Republicans in Congress who remain unconvinced that it is in US national security interests. I intended to systematically fight the implementation of this catastrophic deal and will work with my colleagues to ensure that it is blocked and eventually reversed in January 2025, said Republican Sen. Ted Cruz of Texas. Now, Ritika.
The recent indictment of an Iranian for plotting to murder Trump's former national security advisor John Bolton and the attack by an apparent Imran on the author Salman Rushdie have further contributed to doubts that Iran can be trusted. The latest draft does not include Tehran's demand that the US lift the terrorism designation of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, and Iran has stepped back from a demand that the International Atomic Energy Agency close its investigation into unexplained tests of the three undeclared sites, according to a senior administration official who requested anonymity to discuss ongoing efforts on requested on the deal.
Right. Thank you, Ritika.
Right.
Now, yes. But restoring the terrorism designation imposed by Trump was never a realistic demand. Not only does it fall outside the scope of the nuclear deal, it was made virtually impossible since the Bolton plot indictment, ongoing Iranian threats to other former US officials and the Rushdie attack. And while Iran may have agreed to a mechanism to eventually return to the deal without the IAEA investigation being closed upfront, it has said that its actual compliance with an agreement remains contingent on getting a clean bill of health from the agency. The senior administration official said the deal is closer than it was 2 weeks ago, but cautioned that the outcome remains uncertain as some gaps remain. Have you got the point, Ritika?
Yeah.
And Iranian officials on Tuesday bristled at the suggestion that they have stepped back from their demands to re-enter the deal. Syed Mohammad Marandi, an Iranian advisor to in direct talks in Vienna, took to Twitter on Tuesday to assert that removing the IRGC from the State Department's foreign terrorism list was never a precondition, and insisted that no deal will be implemented before the IAEA board of directors permanently closes the false accusation file. Meanwhile, America's top ally in the Middle East, Israel, has become increasingly alarmed at the apparent movement towards a deal. Israel's alternate Prime Minister Naftali Bennett on Tuesday called on the Biden administration to resist for going ahead with the deal with the Iranians. I call on President Ritika, yes,
Yeah.
they said. I call on the President Biden and the American administration to refrain, even now at this last minute, from signing the agreement with Iran, Bennett said in a statement. Ritika, please.
He noted that Islam is not party agreement signed by the 5% member of the United Nations Security, the US, United Kingdom, Russia, France and China as well as Germany, but that Israel would be directly affected and reserved all rights to its self-defense. One way or another, the
Yeah.
state of the Israel is not a party to the agreement. Bennett said Israel is not committed to any of the restriction stemming from the agreement and will utilize all available tools to prevent the Irani nuclear program from advancing. At the direction of the current Islam Prime Minister Yair Lapid, Israel National Security Advisor, Washington this week to talks with White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and possibly Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman.
The White House has said both would be removed but has not offered details. As of the last public count, Iran has a stockpile of some 3,800 kilograms of enriched uranium under the deal. Tehran could enrich uranium of 3.67% purity while maintaining a stockpile of uranium of 300 kilograms, 660 pounds under constant scrutiny of surveillance cameras and international inspectors. Thank you very much. From Posak TV, me Bian Das with Ritika Bhandari. Thank you very much.